Welcome to the Director's Commentary podcast for Heart, the City Beneath. I'm Grant Howitt, and I'm joined by Christopher Taylor, and we wrote the Heart RPG. In these episodes, we'll be going through the text of the book and discussing how we came to design the game. For more information on Heart and our other titles, go to rrdgames.com. Deep Apiarist.
The bees.
Yeah, they're weird, Deep Apiarists. We've had them
Fan
for a while.
favourite, bees.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did with the Deep Apiarist is we needed a stretch goal for Spire. So we came up with the idea of black magic, which would let us do all the weird occult bits, which we didn't have room to fit in the core book, like the Blood Witch class. And I mentioned in passing the Hunger Witch and the Deep Apiarist. Now, the Hunger Witch ended up being completely cut and replaced with something which you could tangentially describe as a Hunger Witch, but was definitely not what I'd imagined.
Yeah.
Which is fine, we won't go into that.
No.
But the Deep Apiarist was just a cool word.
Like, it literally was. Like, when Deep Apiarist came out in that book, that was it. Like, you'd read everything we'd ever written or thought about the Deep Apiarist.
I think it was Dylan Malenfant, his idea to put it in. We were like, hell yeah, Dylan, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So thanks, Dylan.
Thanks.
The Deep Apiarist is a magic user?
Yes. They are tools of order, but not like the state, but like right angles.
That's the other thing about them. So we didn't really get too in depth into how it felt being a Deep Apiarist in Spire, but we had to, like, cause they're an additional advance that anyone could take, as long as you're okay with having a bunch of bees fill up your body. The reason why they were like so off to one side and not a class is because we didn't expect anyone to really have that be the core of their personality.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can see how a Lejeune and a Firebrand and a Knight would all join the Ministry, but also there's this guy who does bees.
Yeah, and part of the problem with them as well is that when we first envisioned them, they were robotic. They've
come through a few different,
When I say robotic, I don't necessarily mean cybernetic. I mean like an AI, like talking to a bot, or like a chat bot. They were so disassociated from everything because of who they were.
You said they were an APC for bees.
Yeah.
And there was like, okay, I get that. But they were unfortunately dissociated. Initially, back in Spire, we didn't write a lot about where the bees are from. Like, they're glyph-marked bees and they're fragments of a consciousness called the Hive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we referred to them as that. And then we had to start thinking about where the the Hive comes from and what the deal with that is. Because it's extra dimensional. We figure, okay, cool. But we've already got too many dimensions down here. It seems weird to staple on another secondary dimension, which is directly opposed to the heart.
Yeah.
And I think we settled on vaguely hinting that the Spire made them.
Vaguely, yeah.
I cannot remember.
I think that the way that we envisioned it, like, this isn't for what we have. This isn't the canon explanation, but how we envisioned them to get them to kind of come out of our heads was that whatever saw the heart as this interloper into the real world was producing antibodies. The antibodies were the bees, so they were just like antithetical to what they saw as a virus, and that kind of gave us the broad shape of them.
Yeah,
but they were still so hard to turn into an actual person.
Tipping point was when we were writing down the intro to because sometimes if we get stuck, we'll write the intro to the class and then work backwards from there. We took them from being sort of these obsessive mad scientist or mad wizard sort of I needed great power so I put bees in my ears to you were broken.
Yeah.
Like you were mad and strange and the world didn't make sense. And so you managed to fit order to the world by putting bees in your head that have replaced your organ. And the idea that I think at that point we got to say, hey, the heart's so fucky, this is one of the few ways you can make it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they share a lot in similarity with the Incarnadines. Like, a hound hasn't necessarily ever hit pure rock bottom. The Apiarist and the Incarnadine literally have. They've made bad choices. And they've made choices, in a lot of cases, they've made choices that have kept them going. And in this case, it was letting in the bees, which let us do not only some interesting powers, but it allowed me to just cram probably too many Secret World references right into this class.
Do love the Secret World here at Rowan, Rook and Deckard.
It is, and I think I might have to say it. It's the best game.
I don't know, man. Max Payne 2?
I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
However, for me, incorrect. For you, I understand. But Secret World is the best game ever made. I think
it's certainly it's one of the most engrossing games I've ever played.
It's out there, yeah.
The fiction, considering it's a fucking MMO,
right? The
fiction is beautifully written. They have please, you don't need to play the Secret World, but definitely look at the wiki.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Ragnar Tornquist, Dag Sheev, Martin Brusgaard, geniuses, genuine geniuses.
Yeah. Absolute top-notch stuff. Now, after you've read it, you will see where a lot of the inspiration comes from for Deep Apiarist.
Oh yeah, don't play it, because it will, straight behind the curtain.
Yeah, on that subject, please don't read or watch the book or film Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer.
That is off the list for you now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
or we will be rumbled.
Yeah, you could quite easily replace the entirety of the core text of Heart with the core text of Annihilation and then roll a 4 up.
Yeah, give or take. Well, that's us out of a job.
Don't worry, don't listen to these, we're fine.
Now, on that subject, Grant, one of the major abilities here is called Annihilation.
Mm-hmm. All the minors are quotes from the book.
I think, size-wise, 50% of the text is quotes.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I know I said watch the film, read the book, it's better. It's so fucking good, the book. It's absolutely, the book, I read Annihilation and I was like, cool, I'm going to write Heart.
Didn't you start reading Annihilation after you started writing Heart?
No, I was reading it when you and I were on holiday after we finished Spire.
Oh yeah.
I finished it on the train back.
Anyway.
It's a super great book. The core idea behind this is that you have a secondary intelligence inside your head, and we had a lot of problems with that. We wanted players to feel like they were in control of their characters, within reason, because it's not very fun just to have, the bees are doing this. So we got to basically, I think all of the miners, let me just say, yeah, pretty much all of the miners completely dehumanize you.
Yeah.
Like, my favourite one is Hiveborn. I'd say Hiveborn is the best ability in the game. I'm going to read it to you in its entirety. You are reborn in one of the great hives. We don't mention those anywhere else. Your body, though still mortal, is waxen and papery. Gain the Warren domain. You can fit yourself through any gap small enough for a bee by having a swarm chew up and reform your body on the other side. This process takes upwards of 6 hours. You can rush to get it done in an hour instead, but mark D8 stress to blood as a result.
6 hours as bees eat you to get you through a keyhole.
And then sort of spit you up.
The hell is wrong with us?
It's a teleport power. It's the world's slowest blink power.
Yeah, and I mean, Apis ambulation. Oh, cool, you fell asleep. Well, we're busy, so we're going to keep doing the job. The bees just go, well, no, we haven't got time for this. We've got stuff to do. Let's get on with it.
Do you want to know a fun fact about bees?
I'd love to know a fun fact about bees.
The older a bee is, the more it has to take little naps when it's out getting nectar from flowers.
Too real.
They take little naps in flowers. How great is that?
That is gorgeous.
Oh, to be a big fat bumbler.
Right.
Snoozing in a flower with my bum sticking out. That sounds great.
Anyway, the class bees.
Yeah, the class. Let's talk about the Hive, actually.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the abilities, because the Hive is weird.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't work out, again, we were struggling to work out what the core power was with these. Okay, you've got a load of bees in you. What does that do?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's Chekhov's lung full of bees, in that you have to cough them off all over someone.
You've got to shoot someone with them.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally have that power. It's the other core.
That's the other core. We were like, okay, well, you get kind of a spread. We can't have it be too powerful, because then it's going to, they're not a combat class. And what's the deal? So we took the idea of you being broken, the idea of your mind not working correctly, and instead of having any mind soak, you have already mind protection. You have the Hive, so you clear mind stress at the beginning of every situation.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes. It's siphoned off somewhere else. You can't really go mad anymore. Unless you go really mad.
So the mental image I've had of this power since we first did it was imagining somebody who's repairing a dam, but not like one of those big industrial dams. It's dried mud level dam. And this person is constantly just slapping wet mud onto the side of the dam just to try and patch up all these holes. And it's fine, the water doesn't fall through until all of it is wet mud.
It does nothing for fallout.
Yeah, and then it just breaks, and everything is, you are screwed. Because we had to fix some of the wording on this, that you have no way to benefit from mind protection.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to clear it is to be in another situation entirely.
There is also later on you can fire your madness at people with a major.
Yeah,
They have to make your character about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we will also say the sweetlings nest. The sweetlings, wisdom flows so sweet.
Buzzing hive hum.
Buzzing hive hum. These are all just phrases we liked from Secret World and took and then didn't credit. We didn't even credit the Secret World.
If it's not in the back of the book, then I'm genuinely livid.
We genuinely, dude, we forgot to credit
Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, Darkest Dungeon as well. The first, yeah. So listen, sorry, Jeff, sorry, Mr. Vandermeer. You'll have to make do with all that Natalie Portman money, which I presume you got.
Probably. And sorry to Ragnar Tornquist and co for stealing some of your lines, because they're great.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, please go read Play Secret World.
Also, sorry for that time I talked to you for 2 hours about Secret World. If you listen to this,
very
just sorry.
I'm not sorry about the short and professional interview that I conducted with you in Munich. Sorry, Cologne. It was short and to the point, and he gave me a USB stick.
Mine was 2 hours long, where I showed him my notes that I'd made while playing his game. Anyway,
that's the conversation I wanted to have with him.
Oh yeah, no, the three of them were there looking at my notebook.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway, back to this. So, Deep Apiarists have some of the best naming stuff in the game
because they're scientists, kind of.
But also, they've got
aliens.
They've got two different formats for the namings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have Annihilation and Delirium Spike, and then the others. So Annihilation, Blossom Within the Skull, Dark Flowers, that which is golden. Delirium Spike is Imperfect Balance, Venomous Hex, and Inquisitive Burrowers. Yeah. But then you look at the other powers, and you get the flip side of the character. Blessed Toxin is Fearless, Painless, Bloodless. Sacred Geometry, Majestic, Pristine, Regal. Unchaos, Stabilization, Perfection, Filed Away. It is to the point. It is right-angled text. The fact that one of their powers is called Delirium Spike.
It does sound like something an anime character would yell.
We kept it even after we realised that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that we wanted to sort of embody. There's this alien majesty to them, which I think it really helps that the iconic is an Elfir as well, an unmasked Elfir.
Yes.
The most powerful ability in the game is Unchaos.
Yes.
Not my favourite, and it's not the most visibly powerful. Difficulty in Heart is, if you'll pardon my French, bloody harsh.
Isn't it?
Very, very hard to actually get around. Like if something has the dangerous difficulty level, probably best you don't fuck with it.
Just leave.
However, Unchaos lets you, once it's all powered up, cast you can ignore risky difficulty for you and your mates as long as they all cluster around you
in one nice squashable space.
One delicious crushable space. This for me was when we were writing the abilities, when it really came together, because the idea that the heart is dangerous and risky and strange and unpredictable, and you play order.
I'm not even sure order is the right word, but you play the opposite of that.
Structure?
Yeah.
I suppose it's order as opposed to chaos. It's not human. It's not person stuff.
No. That's why I keep using the phrase right angles. A right angle is perfect. It is not human. There's no humanity in a right angle. There's humanity in 89 degrees, but not 90. If you know what I mean? Because there's error. There's, people make mistakes. For it to be a right angle, it has to be perfect. And the bees are that right angle. They are utter perfection.
Yeah. Inhuman perfection from outside the world.
From out my window.
I want you to talk to me about the Zeniths, because you came up with Surrender to Chaos, and I think you adore it. I think it's your favourite.
There's a theme running through the Zeniths that I did, which is just... I'm not...
Mine are all glorious deaths.
Mine are not.
No, yours are definitely interesting, definitely exciting deaths.
So Surrender to Chaos is beautiful for me because of the flavour text, which is a lifetime of carving order from disorder, and still the heart remains chaotic. You lost before you ever started. You give in, tragically and catastrophically. You go, I can't, I'm done. There's no way we can win. And that's the power?
You
love
are
it.
killed when this ability is used, crushed under the weight of impossible mathematics and ruinous vectors.
Oh, ruinous vectors. Lines and angles no longer fully meet at the seams as raw nuclear chaos unfolds within you. After a few seconds of utter nightmare, the manifestation collapses, lapsing back into its natural state.
Yeah.
But, when you cast this spell, everything that is ordered flips to disorder. Buildings collapse, machinery overloads and malfunction, disease runs rampant, language breaks down, and fire crackles at the edge of your vision. You are unmade, inverted, your bees are destroyed, and the heart arrives to greedily consume you. I managed to put a power that lets you give up and win?
Well, yeah, I mean, win's a strong word.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, yes, for sure. If having the heart spontaneously manifest on top of where you are, it's like calling an airstrike in on your current position.
Yes. Yeah, if the airstrike was within you all along.
True airstrike. We've also got absolute stasis, which we hinted at in Spire, that bees would coat someone, like predators or badmen who came around, and then they would fly off and they would be completely encased in crystal.
And I like it because there's this kind of beauty to it, it becomes art. It becomes a statue.
Yeah, also you become the statue, and if anyone touches it, they also become a statue.
Yeah, don't touch the statues.
Don't fuck with the statues. And then Dimensional Bastion, where you get to become a big hive of bees.
Make a big bubble.
Make a big bubble of bees. While the bees endure, this place will be safe from the incurring and ever-changing heart itself. So that's really more of a retirement power.
Yes.
All right, kids, you carry on adventuring. I'm going to go here and sit down by the bees.
Rather than you are unmade.
Fucking surrender to chaos, man. It's nightmare. I love it.
Thank you.
Let's move on.
Let's.
You've been listening to the Director's Commentary podcast for Heart, The City Beneath. I was Grant Howitt, and I was joined by Christopher Taylor, and we wrote the Heart RPG. For more information on Heart and our other titles, go to rrdgames.com.